Welcome back, beloved friends of the desert wind and moonlit mysteries, to the place where every heartbeat echoes through royal corridors, our channel devoted to the timeless verses of Sheikh Hamdan. Tonight the falcon's wings pause mid-flight so we may share a confession wrapped not in ceremony but in certainty. Listen to me carefully, for what you are about to hear is a promise, not a proposal. In these words no ring glimmers, no velvet box creaks open. Instead, an oath takes shape like dawn over the gulf, shimmering with gold that cannot be forged by mortal hands. I speak from a horizon where duty and desire wrestle like twin stallions rearing against the same thunder, hooves sparking brilliance across the firmament. You have seen titles bestowed, treaties inked, empires rise beneath my name. Yet none of those declarations carries the heat I pour into this vow. A proposal can be accepted or declined, but a promise is a meteor. Once it streaks the sky, even the darkness remembers its light. Close your eyes and feel the hush that descends on palm groves when evening prayers fade. There, between perfumed petals and ancient stone, my pledge hums with the patience of desert dunes sculpted by 1,000 silent years. It is steadfast, unhurried, immune to applause. I promise to guard the song you keep hidden beneath everyday smiles, to amplify it until orchestras of seraphim recognize your secret melody and weave it through celestial harps. Storm clouds may gather above the pearl-white minarets of Dubai, but know this, I will meet every lightning bolt with the open pages of our unwritten story, letting fire etch its signature so the heavens themselves sign witness. Winds may howl across the empty quarter, stripping illusions down to bone. Still, my promise stands unbroken, a polished quartz tucked in the palm, warm, smooth, unshatterable. Your doubts are shades cast by past disappointments, and I will chase them the way sunrise chases night from the city's mirrored towers. Where the world measures love in carats and ceremonies, I measure it in the patience to learn every silence that lingers after your laughter fades. I promise to read those silences as though they were gilded manuscripts, turning each page with reverence. Should oceans widen and rumors echo louder than drums, remember that in the stillness of the royal courtyard, moonbeams spill silver along marble paths leading only to you. My footsteps will trace that glow, unerring, like constellations carved in flesh. No council can decree it, no protocol can annul it. This vow is older than any lineage and answers to no scepter but the truth. And if duty summons me to distant frontiers, my promise will ride the desert wind like a homing prayer, circling back to rest upon your shoulder at dusk. Feel its weight, so light it lifts your worries, so solid it anchors your dreams. A proposal kneels once, a promise stands eternal, watching over the horizon so you may wander fearless beneath any sky. When gossiping tongues tangle tales of crowns and compromises, remember how this night tasted, the sweetness of pomegranate lanterns, the hush before an oud's first note, the certainty stitched into every heartbeat shared. I offer no parchment sealed in wax, no trumpets blare, only the quiet thunder of faith that reverberates through ribs and granite alike. He sealed the parchment with grains collected from the storm itself, embedding the rage of nature and the calm of wisdom in equal measure, like twin signatures on the same destiny. Months later she revealed a truth that humbled him more than any coronation rehearsal. She was once his late mother's confidant, a childhood friend who had guarded the secrets of an entire generation. The living archive of laughter and tears that predated the skyscrapers now spearing the sky. She had promised Sheikh Mohammed she would keep a distant watch over the crown prince's conscience, guiding without grasping, correcting without condemning. In honoring that promise, she became the spine beneath Hamdan's outward grace, the quiet pulse beneath his public charisma. So who is this older woman? She is every grandmother who stitches lullabies into a child's dreams, every teacher who scribbles hope onto a blackboard no one bothers to erase, every nurse who folds hospital linens like origami cranes, and every desert wanderer who maps constellations no telescope can name. She is the hymn of perseverance sung by dates ripening beneath merciless heat. The sigh of history resigning itself to the inevitability of progress yet refusing to vanish. She is age incarnate, proving that wrinkles are merely ink lines on a living scripture. For Hamdan, she remains a silent metronome regulating the rhythm of his ambition. When global spotlights glare, he closes his eyes and hears her steady whisper, "Lead with mercy. Let your shadow be shorter than your generosity. Let your laughter outlast your throne." Those words anchor him against the undertow of power, reminding him that a ruler's true coronation occurs each time he bends lower than the least of his people. Let the world obsess over superficial mysteries. But remember this, the pulse of a nation often throbs in places paparazzi cannot reach. If you truly need to know who the older woman is, place your ear against the desert floor and listen for footsteps that arrived long before cameras. Taste the salt of ancestral sweat still clinging to tower cranes. Feel the hush between call to prayer and sunrise. There, in that liminal hush, she waits. A lighthouse whose beam is not seen but felt by those willing to close their eyes to see. In the end, she will slip back into the tide from which she emerged, leaving behind only a trail of poems etched into the hearts of those who listen. But every falcon that rides a thermal over Dubai will trace her initials in the sky. Every poem Hamdan gifts to his people will carry her cadence. And every citizen who pauses, just once, to value wisdom over glitter will unknowingly bow to her legacy. That is who the older woman is. And that is why you need to know her, because within her story lies your own map to becoming something greater than time, wealth, or title could ever define. So I say it now, not as a secret, not as a whisper behind palace doors, but as the anthem of my soul. I love you, not for the way you fit into my world, but for the way you made me brave enough to build a new one. One is not ruled by bloodlines or power, but by truth, poetry, and you, always you, my queen. We sat in it, wrapped in its warmth, letting our hearts speak in beats and breaths. The quiet was not emptiness, it was trust. It was the kind of quiet that only soulmates can share. When the power briefly flickered and darkness threatened to swallow us, you reached for another candle with a calm smile. You said, "There will always be light as long as we have each other." And then you lit that wick, slow and steady, as if it was a vow. That small act, so simple, so ordinary, felt divine. In your hands, even fire became something tender. I knew then that no matter what storms came, we would find ways to light our way. The day I brought you to the desert cliffs, where the sky kisses the horizon in flames each dusk, you cried, not because of the view, but because I had brought you to the place where I buried my fears. Now, you said, there is nothing left to fear, and you were right. In that moment, I knew I could fight every tradition, every expectation, every shadow that threatened us.